The sun hung low in the sky, casting a golden haze over the churning waters as the tiny boat sputtered away, leaving me on the jagged shore of Calamity Cove. I adjusted my pack and took a deep breath of salty air, relishing the solitude. The hired boatman had been clear. "Meet me back here in 5 hours, or you'll be stuck here for a week." That was fine by me. I wasn't running from the clamor of the city. Not exactly. I was running from myself. In the city, the noise had a way of drowning out the thoughts I didn't want to face. The failed relationships, the hollow friendships, the career I hated but couldn't leave. Out here, with just the trail and the untamed wilderness, maybe I could remember who I was before all that. Before I let the world wear me down. The trail wound upward through gnarled trees and crumbling rocks. The wind whispered through the branches, carrying faint hints of brine and decay. Overhead, gulls wheeled and screamed, their cries sharp and lonely. As I climbed higher, the view opened up, jagged cliffs plunging into a restless sea, waves gnashing at the rocks below like some primal beast. Then I heard it. A voice, faint and desperate, carried on the wind. "Whoa! Do you hear me? Can you help me?" I froze, the hairs on the back of my neck prickling. Peering cautiously over the edge of the cliff, I spotted him, a man on a barren, rocky patch 30 feet below. He was filthy, his clothes ragged and smeared with dirt, his round face split by an unnerving grin. He ran in frantic circles, his heavy body lurching to and fro. "Are you stuck?" The man stopped and tilted his head up, his smile fading. His impish eyes, dark and hollow, locked onto mine. "Oh, me," he crooned, his voice heavy with despair. "I'm not worth saving. Just a poor soul nobody cares about. They left me here to die. Can you help me?" I hesitated. Something about him made my stomach tighten. But the words hit too close to home. Not worth saving. I'd felt that way more times than I cared to admit. The sleepless nights, the nagging voice in the back of my mind that asked what the point of it all was. It all came rushing back. I couldn't just leave him. "Don't worry," I said. "I'll get you out of there. Just hold tight." The man's gaze lingered on me, unblinking. "Sure," he murmured. "Help me. No one else will." The rocky terrain seemed to resist my efforts, the sharp wind biting through my clothes. But I had now developed this unnatural predilection to save this sorrowful soul, in spite of any costs to my own life. Determined, I scoured the trail for anything I could use as an anchor point. I retrieved a sturdy length of rope in my pack and tied it to a tree near the edge. The man below watched in silence, his movements eerily still now, as though he were conserving energy for some unknowable reason. "Grab the rope!" I shouted, tossing it down. The man shuffled closer, but as the rope swung within his reach, he recoiled. "I can't," he said. "I'm afraid of heights. I'll fall." Frustration churned in my gut. "You have to try. There's no other way up." The man shook his head, his expression unreadable. Then, without warning, a high-pitched screech shattered the air. From the shadows darted a tiny monkey, its fur matted and its eyes wild. It lunged at the man, who yelped and scrambled up a tree that swayed precariously in the wind. The monkey screeched again, circling below like a predator scenting blood. "What is going on?" I muttered, my pulse racing. "Does that beast have rabies?" The wind picked up, howling through the cliffs, and the sky darkened with unnatural speed. Shadows deepened, and the smell of damp earth and rot rose thick around me. I crouched at the edge, desperate to help. The rope swung uselessly in the air. Below, the man moaned loudly and clung to the tree, his body trembling. The monkey's cries pierced my ears, setting my nerves on edge. "Please," the man whimpered, his voice barely audible over the gale. "Don't leave me." Something in his tone made me pause. Was it fear or mockery? I didn't know, but I couldn't ignore him. I climbed down, gripping the rough stone, the salty wind stinging my eyes. My footing was treacherous. loose rocks skittering into the abyss with every step. The closer I got, the more oppressive the atmosphere became, like the island itself was alive, watching, waiting. Halfway down, I slipped. My heart leapt into my throat as I clawed for a handhold, fingers scraping raw against the jagged cliff face. I managed to catch myself, chest heaving. Below, the man's face twisted into something grotesque, a mockery of concern. "Careful," he called, a smirk curling his lips. I hesitated, doubt seeping in. But I pressed on. When I finally reached the rocky patch, the man was now out of the tree and standing behind me, eerily calm. The monkey had vanished. "Are you okay?" I asked, my voice shaky. The man tilted his head, studying me like I was some peculiar insect. "You're very kind," he said. "Not many would do what you did." Before I could respond, the ground beneath me gave way. With a sickening lurch, I fell, tumbling down the slope. Pain exploded through my body as I hit the rocks below. My vision blurred, darkness creeping in at the edges. Through the haze, I saw him. The man stood over me, his face blank and void of emotion. He rifled through my pockets, pulling out my wallet and phone. "Thanks for the help," the man said coldly, as his silhouette vanished into the shadows. His pet monkey scampered behind him, its matted tail flicking. As they departed into the undergrowth, the monkey paused to toss a snickering laugh at me before disappearing after the man. As my vision faded, the sound of waves crashing against the rocks filled the silence. Somewhere in the distance, I thought I heard the fading hum of a boat motor, leaving me behind. Just as I'd feared. Just as I always knew he would.